Welcome everyone. My name is Thalia Anagnostou. Welcome everybody. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on whether you are watching from. I am based in France, so early afternoon here. Today I'm excited to introduce you to XLSTAT, a powerful tool that can transform how we work with data. So this is me. I have a few things about myself. I work for Univariate, the developer of XLSTAT, among other products. I have been using this software for quite a while now, starting as a data analyst, then as a trainer, a consultant, and now I'm using it as part of my marketing role. We are going to spend most of the time for the next 55 minutes going through XLSTAT exercises. By the way, we will share with you the XLSTAT files with the raw data and the analysis outputs. But before we dive in, let me quickly introduce you to the software. We are not going to spend more than 1 minute to the PowerPoint, so thanks for your patience. And I would like to start by saying that data can sometimes feel overwhelming, I guess for yourself too. Volumes of numbers, trends, and patterns that aren't immediately clear. And if we add the use of a complex software or coding on top of that, then we might panic, especially if we don't master statistics or coding. XLSTAT simplifies this complexity, turning raw data into insightful insights. With just a few clicks, you can run advanced statistical analysis, visualize results, and make data-driven decisions with confidence. XLSTAT works in 4 main steps. You import the data, you choose the right feature, you open the dialog box, set it up, and then launch the computations, and bam, you have the results in the same spreadsheet. So everything works in the environment of Microsoft Excel. You don't need to learn a new interface or environment. Throughout this demo, we will explore key features such as descriptive statistics, data visualization, t-tests, principal component analysis, and analysis of variance. So let's dive in. And yes, before I forget, I pulled together a few slides with free educational resources, so links to free tutorials, videos, YouTube channels, free webinars. So feel free to go over these and have fun with statistics or XLSTAT. So now I'm going to exit this PowerPoint and start with XLSTAT. And first thing I need to know is, or you need to know how you can launch actually XLSTAT. After installing the software, you can launch it directly within Microsoft Excel. So I'm going to open a new Excel file, or you can open any Excel file. And you will find XLSTAT tab in the ribbon at the top of the Excel window. I'm going to click on Start XLSTAT, and I will get immediately access to all of the software's tools and features. So this is the ribbon. It's a click and point interface. No coding is required. The ribbon is divided in several sections. Right here, you have options to customize the software, information about your license, the version. You have some quick and handy tools. And then the most interesting part happens here. These are all XLSTAT modules. So I'm using XLSTAT Premium. That's why I have so many icons. And if you look at the first 5 icons or 6, this is where you get access to methods to manage your data, describe them, analyze them, make predictions, create clusters, test the hypothesis. And then right after, we have the applied solution. So these are modules specially designed for fields such as sensory data analysis, quantitative marketing, ecology, medicine, biology, and also finance, banking, and manufacturing. And at the end, we have the help section and share a feedback. So under help, you get access to numerous tools where you can get help with getting started or how to interpret your data. You get access to the XLSTAT documentation. So if you want to learn like which formula we use, which literature references, how to interpret the results, this is the right document. And then you have webinars. You can, if you want to speak to someone, you can contact support by clicking here, and there will be a product expert, a statistician who will get back to you in like within 2-3 business hours. Okay. So second thing I need to know about XLSTAT, how to import data. Really simple. You can import your data directly into Excel, just like any other data set. Simplest way is copy and paste your data here or open the file in Excel. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my demo data that I have already prepared. So as you see, a new file open where each tab contains a different demo data. Okay, so once your data is in Excel, XLSTAT automatically recognizes it. There is no need to declare a variable like in SPSS or define the type of variable, whether it's quantitative, qualitative. XLSTAT recognize all of it. And then simply select the cells that contain your data or the entire column, and then use XLSTAT tools from the ribbon to analyze it. But I'm going to guide you through in details right now. Okay, last thing, how can I install the trial version? So if you want to relaunch the analysis that I will show you, you will need to install it. It's for free. You can download it using this link. If you don't have XLSTAT, you can still open this file and view the XLSTAT results. You can even share it with colleagues or friends, and no matter whether they have XLSTAT or not, they will be able to open and view the XLSTAT tabs. Okay, let's start with the first exercise. And I've chosen the Fisher dataset, also called the iris flower dataset, because it's really simple and we can use it to showcase XLSTAT in simplicity, from univariate analysis to a bivariate analysis and multivariate method analysis. The dataset contains 150 measurements of 3 different species of iris flowers: Iris setosa, versicolor, and virginica. And we have 4 quantitative attributes. There are so many questions we can answer here. It's very important, actually, the question we are asking, because that will define the type of XLSTAT feature we are going to choose. For example, what is the average petal length of the entire population? Or does the average petal width differ between the 3 species? And this is when univariate analysis comes handy and useful. And in XLSTAT, we mainly carry out univariate analysis using this feature here, descriptive statistics, which is one of the top 5 XLSTAT features, well, mostly used. Okay, so I'm going to do this again. In order to start the descriptive statistics, I'm going to click on the feature and the dialog box opens. You will notice, especially those who have already used Microsoft Excel for data analysis, that the window looks really similar to Excel dialog boxes. And that is because we designed the interface using VBA. But the main difference here is that XLSTAT goes beyond Excel. All the algorithms are implemented in C++. That means precise and powerful calculations. Descriptive statistics is quite simple compared to a more complex machine learning model. So someone will say, okay, well, I can run descriptive statistics in Excel. Yes, but you won't get so many options. And also, if you want to go beyond basic statistics, then there is no way you can run with simple Excel formulas a machine learning module or a ARIMA module just with Excel, or you will need to spend a lot of hours using VBA coding. So, but enough with this introduction. I'm going to explore all of the attributes. Okay, so you will notice that there are several field boxes. A field box in XLSTAT is the place where we need to select the data, import the data, and there are different ways I can do that. I can either select a single column or several columns at the same time, or non-adjacent columns if we want to exclude column B, for example. But in this example, I'm going to select from A to D. And what I would like to do is compare the distributions of these 4 attributes per group. So I'm not going to use the E column as a qualitative variable, but I'm going to use it as a subsample, or also called a group variable. Okay? On the right-hand side, so this is where you tell XLSTAT where you want your outputs to be displayed. So I'm going to choose a new sheet. And then variable labels, yes, very important. If the first row of your dataset contains variable labels, make sure you enable these options. I don't have weights here, but if you have specific weights per observation, you can check this out. I will leave the options by default, but we do have the possibility to standardize and rescale and compare to the total sample. Okay, outputs. This is where you can select the descriptive statistics to display in the XLSTAT report. I'm going to check all of them. You have like quite basic descriptive statistics, going to more advanced like kurtosis, skewness, confidence interval, geometric mean, whatever you want. And then in the charts, I can select the, let's pick up only box plots, right? But you also have mean charts with error bars. And if you want to customize the box plots, then go to the options. And what I like to do, especially when we compare groups, is create side-by-side box plots. So by default, this is unchecked, and this will create 4 different box plots, okay, or X box plots depending on the number of variables or categories. So I'm going to enable group plots, and then let's see what this will give. So once I've done this, I click OK, and you'll see in like literally in 2 seconds, I get the XLSTAT report. And this comes as a separate tab called DESE. You start with a reminder of which data cells you have selected. You have action buttons, like you can relaunch the analysis if you have an updated data the next day, and you can export to PowerPoint and Microsoft Word. You also have a drop-down list. Well, in this case, we only have too many outputs, but there are methods like analysis of variance or PCA with hundreds of rows, and this is quite handy. You can actually choose the output you desire, and XLSTAT will take you directly to this table or chart. Okay, so first output is the table of descriptive statistics. You may not see the entire label, but if I expand the table, and this is what I like in XLSTAT, is flexible. I can adjust the width of the columns. I can also change the color, the font. I can literally use any Excel format option to play with the format of my table. Okay, so these are my numerical output, and then going up, sorry about that, going further down, we have the side-by-side box plots. So one box plot represents a future, and then we have the different groups. Okay. So let me do something else which makes more sense. I'm going to actually create side-by-side box plots by categories and not by variables, because this is what I want to do, is compare the groups. Okay, yes, this is better. So now each box plot represents a single attribute, sepal length, sepal width, and petal length, etc. And each box plot represents a flower species, Setosa, versicolor, and virginica. And this is a nice way to compare quantitative distributions per group. Well, this is one thing I can do. And let me remind you that every XLSTAT output is an Excel output. So you can change the colors, you can modify the axis scales, and you can modify the labels just by clicking on chart design and format. But let's go a step further. We are happy with the box plot, but how can we actually test whether the difference between the mean of sepal length between the Setosa, versicolor, and virginica is significant? Okay, so let's maybe take Setosa and virginica, two groups. Does any of you know which test we can use to, let's say, a parametric test to compare two means? This is the two-sample t-test and z-test. We have therefore switched to a bivariate analysis, because we want to explore the link between two variables. Okay, how I'm going to do that? I'm using the data format one column per variable, but I also have the choice between one column per sample and per samples. Okay, so let's choose petal length. Or if we want to run t-test at the same time for multiple variables, I can select the 4 columns. Okay, but just to simplify the output, I'm going to select one of them. Oh, sorry. And then the sample identifiers is same as before, is our species group. I will leave the options by default. I don't have any missing data, but if I do have, I can either use the mean to estimate or remove the observation. Okay, let me show you what is quite cool with XLSTAT t-test. It's not only the p-value or the results of the test, but also a summary box plot where you can visually compare the groups and check the p-value. So I'm going to use this drop-down list to take you right there, or this one. And here it is. So of course I can explore all the above numerical tables and individual chart, but I like this one because it takes the previous box plot to a step further. We now have the visual comparison, but we also have the p-value for the pairwise comparison and check whether the difference is significant or not. Okay. And of course, you do have the results of the test under this table here. Okay, so eventually we will have 3 tables because we have 3 pairs, since we have 3 groups. Okay. So we saw an example of univariate analysis, bivariate analysis. Oh yes, another nice way to compare variables is the correlation matrix. So if we do have time at the end, I will also show you that, and scatter plot as well. Let me draw one quickly. A scatter plot. Okay. Yeah, so we can see that there is a linear trend, and we can also see the differences between the 3 groups. So I used the different color per species. And before moving to the multivariate analysis, let me ask you, how do you usually choose the right visualization for your data? We draw a box plot and also a scatter plot. We could also do a histogram, okay, to see like the relative frequencies. We could also draw probability plots. It really depends what you want to identify as a pattern or what questions you want to answer. I'm going to show you a really handy way to automatically generate all possible data visualizations in XLSTAT if you don't want to go one by one. It's called the data viz interface, and all you have to do is enter your data, select your data. Okay, just check one. Okay, and then right in the middle, XLSTAT will automatically generate every possible chart which is appropriate for quantitative data. If I use a qualitative variable, then we should expect to see different charts. Here I have a pie chart and bar chart, but let's use mixed data, quantitative and qualitative. So you will see again different ones. And if I use our E column as a subsample, then we should be able to draw the side-by-side box plots in a single click. So I'm going to click on play, and then you're going to get in this interface the box plots. So I'm going to check group plots, go back and see, yeah, now it worked better. So if I'm happy with the output, I can export it and a new tab will be generated in my Excel spreadsheet. And in the same way, you can play around with the other charts. Okay, now multivariate analysis. What if we want to explore or to see whether these 4 attributes allow us to discriminate the flower species? Here our response variable is qualitative, and in this case I will be using discriminant analysis. But we can also find other multivariate data analysis method depending on the nature of our variables. If we only have quantitative data, we can use principal component analysis, for example. Let's check it out. Discriminant analysis can be used for both exploratory and predictive purposes. The response variable is the E column, the quantitative columns from A to D. Oh, I forgot to show you actually that we can also select variables in a different way. This is the most simple one, using the mouse or the keyboard. But imagine if you have like hundreds of columns, then you don't want to bother with selecting columns one by one or using your mouse. And for this, I can switch to the list import method by clicking here once. Oh, well, that didn't work, but let me see if it works in a different analysis. Okay, yes, it's because we haven't yet implemented in the discriminant analysis. So I'm going back, and you'll see if I click once here, then the interface changed a little bit. This means that now if I click in the field box, a new window pops up, and I can actually select the variables just by checking. So yeah, imagine if you have 100 variables, then this is quite handy. Okay, so let's go back to discriminant analysis. Again, a lot of options to customize it. In every single predictive method in XLSTAT, we have the validation and prediction method to split in the training and validation set. We can predict new values of the response variable. We can handle missing data, and this is where we choose the outputs and charts. Okay. Again, this is a quite complex analysis that if we want to run with Excel, it will take a lot of hours. Unless you are a VBA guru. Okay. So this is the first example I'm showing you, which goes beyond Univariate and Bivariate, and you will see immediately that we now have hundreds of results. Okay. If you wonder what each of the table means, there are different ways to discover this. You can click on this little red cross here, and with a pop-up window explaining what is this about, or you can relaunch the dialog box and the help button will take you immediately to the discriminant analysis help file. Okay, so what I like to do is go to the information of each tab and say, okay, well, what does the SSPC matrix means, and when should I activate this, or how do I interpret the multicollinearity and all the results that XLSTAT provides. And at the end, I get a link to a tutorial, so I can also download a demo file and play around. Okay, so going back to the outputs of discriminant analysis, you have tables, you have charts, like the script plot, the correlation plot, and then I like to use this one. Is quite visual, which helps to and confirms here that the 4 attributes actually allows to discriminate the flower species. We can see 3 distinct clusters. Each dot is a single observation. Okay. Okay. Let's see a different demo data set, a little bit with a few more variables, but it's still quite simple. It's we're using a fictive data set here, and it represents a sample of customers from an online shoe shop. So we have the client, where they come from, their gender, and a few characteristics, how much time they spend on the website, their preferred shoe brand, and how much money they spend on the website. Okay, so we have 31 customers. Imagine if you have a lot of more variables and hundreds or thousands of customers. It's also impossible to know right away where the most important information is found within the dataset. And a nice way to summarize information is using principal component analysis when having quantitative data, of course. And this method will help us to reduce the dimensions of the data set and help us summarize the most valuable information. Okay. Oh, sorry, just opened a different one. So I'm going back to the demo data set. PCA is found under analyzing data. And why do I want to show you this one? It's because in XLSTAT, you can find numerous options, like how to filter factors or add rotation. You can add supplementary observations or supplementary variables. Well, attention, those don't contribute to the computations. They are just added to the correlation charts and the B-plots. Numerous options if you have missing data. And let's talk about charts. Well, you can color labels, you can color by group, you can add confidence ellipses, you can choose a type of B-plot, do bootstrap. So this gives unlimited possibilities. Okay, let's select all the quantitative variables, and I would like also to use the origin as a group variable here. And let's see what will this give. Oh yeah, a little window pops up every time we run a principal component analysis. This is where we have to select the axis, the dimension. So if we only want a two-dimensional PCA space, then choose F1, F2, click select. But then you may also want to explore a third dimension, F3. Okay, so and PCA, okay, will give again a lot of numerical outputs and charts like the Aegean vectors, factor loadings. You can check what this means by going over the crest road here. Correlation plots, I have two because I choose F1, F2 and F1, F3. And let's see, okay, I'm going just to choose one to make it simpler, but B-plot is a nice way to explore the links between customers, between variables, but also the links between customers and variables. Okay. Well, here I have the name of the observation. What will be interesting is add the name of the customer. So I'm going to open up again the dialog box and choose the name of the client in the observation labels field. And to find a little bit quicker the B-plot, I'm going to use the drop-down list. Okay, I think it's, yes, here. Okay, I'm going to zoom in. So now you can see the names of the customers, the names of the observation, the variables, and they are, it will be interesting to run actually a clustering after that to confirm that there are distinct clusters, as you will see here. So on the right hand side, you can see customers who spend a lot of money on the shoe shop, while on the left hand side, you have customers who spend less money, but they spend a lot of time online. Okay, so there are many different ways to interpret this data. I'm just giving a few examples. Right. Okay, let's switch to an analysis of variance. And this time I'm going to use a demo data set which is more appropriate for food scientists, sensory data analysts, or any kind of R&D team in a food and beverage company market research. So we have 3 different sauces. Could be a tomato sauce. Each tomato sauce is tested 3 times per judge, and there are 8 judges in total. We have 2 factors. So we talk about a 2-way ANOVA, but in XLSTAT we can run multiple-way ANOVA as well. Okay, so questions like, does spiciness mean change according to sauce, to judge, or to the interactions between both factors? Yeah, this could be the type of questions we can answer using a analysis of variance. And this method is available under modeling data, just after linear regression. Okay, I'm going to reset the dialog box. This window is a little bit actually more loaded than the previous ones compared to descriptive statistics, and is logic because it's a more advanced modeling technique. Okay, but don't panic, it's still quite easy to use. We have a column data format, but you can also use the table data format. This is when we have aggregated data. Let's choose first the dependent variable, which is spiciness. We have a quantitative dependent variable. And which are our factors? Judge and sauce. These are qualitative factors. Now, sometimes I get the question, what happens if my qualitative variable, like my factor in ANOVA, is represented by numbers? This is totally fine because XLSTAT will take 1, 2, 3 as categories, okay? We don't have observation labels and stuff. Oh yeah, something really interesting. If you do have groups, you can use this option. And so if you have 3 groups, XLSTAT will run 3 different ANOVAs, but also for the entire population. We can use interactions. If we do have a lot of variables, we can use this option to choose the variables that contribute the most to the model. But we're not going to do it here because we only have 2 factors. Okay, again, we can use the validation, we can predict new values, we can handle missing data. And what I like here is the means subtab, where you can choose the post hoc test. So it's quite common after running an analysis of variance. You can enable the summary, confidence intervals, and a lot of charts options. Okay. Let's see what we'll give. It took a little bit of more time because there are a lot more results. So if you use these arrows, it will take you to the last row. It's quite handy. Okay, so it's a chart showing which visualize the comparisons, the results of the pairwise comparisons. But if I go back to the top, we always start with summary statistics. Okay, correlation matrix. We use a Pearson correlation coefficient here, and then you have all sort of goodness of fit statistics, effect size measures, and then the analysis of variance, model parameters, a lot of things. I'm not going to present you every single chart and table here. You have the predictions, and then at the end you will get the results from the post hoc test. Okay. Again, you can change the format of the tables. You can copy paste it. You can export it. You can, yes, play around. And then XLSTAT can also generate dynamic charts and not static only. For example, if you have time data, like here, we have quantitative variables such as life expectancy, fertility rate, the population size. We have the countries for which these attributes were measured, but we also have the year. So it will be interesting to see and visualize how the fertility rate changed per country from 1963 till today as a function of the life expectancy. And I believe in Excel there is no single chart that does it at once, or at least in a dynamic way, but I'm going to show you what the motion chart does in XLSTAT. Okay, I have pre-configured it, so we have the fertility rate, the life expectancy, the time data, which is the year, the groups, and this is optional, but it will be nice to define the size of the observation point depending on the population size. Okay, let's see how magic it is. I'm going to zoom in, and so at the first, what we get to see are the observations for the 1960 year. But if we click on the play button, then we will see how the how the life expectancy changes over the years as a function of the fertility rate. Okay, I can go quicker. And the size of each observation point changes because the population size changes as well. Okay, and yeah, as expected, we started with a low life expectancy and high fertility rate, but as we come closer to 2000, then life expectancy goes upper and fertility rate decreases. Okay. So we still have a few minutes before the Q&A session, and just to finish with something completely different, it's a sales demo data, and this time we don't have a column format. Okay, so XLSTAT can also analyze contingency tables, okay, crosstabs. So if you do have this aggregate data, you can still analyze them. Different options, you can run a correspondent analysis, you can create a two-dimensional plot, and okay, you can run a chi-square actually to test the dependency between the two attributes. But let me show you the 2D plots for crosstabs, which is quite impressive for an Excel chart. Yes, so again, you can color it differently, you can use different formats, you can have rectangular or other shapes. So a good way to see again the evolution of a quantitative variable over the years per group, which is the continent here. Okay, and for marketers, there are also interesting tools under marketing tools. Okay, so you have word cloud and define the right sample size for your survey, and you have funnel chart to visualize yes, the number of people that went through each lead status. And let me see under life sciences. So if among attendees we have researchers in medicine, biology, ecology, then install the trial and have a look at these features. There are lots of them, like survival analysis, designs of experiments. If you're into finance and banking, you will find predictive models like RIMA, smoothing. And if you work for a manufacturing company, have a look at the designs of experiments and statistical process control. Same way of analyzing, you open the dialog box, you select your data and launch the computations. And with that, I would love to answer your questions. So if Tim, you would like to share the questions?
Yeah, hi Talia, thank you for the great demonstration of XLSTAT. I would actually like to first introduce my new colleague Mehmet, which we cited in our Gothenburg office in Sweden. Mehmet, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Fantastic. Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. So
Great.
actually, Mehmet is our latest addition to the Alfasoft team, and he will be managing our data analysis and statistics tool from Sweden. And I was actually thinking I had an AI and research webinar previously, and is this fair that AI will take your job? But actually, for me, Mehmet took my job. No, we are a team, finally. Mehmet,
Yeah.
I don't know, do you have any questions? Do you see any questions for Talia?
I don't have any questions for Talia for now, but I would like to just tell the audience who I am, because I think I will try to contact everyone when we are ready with the recordings, so I can just introduce myself to everyone after the webinars. My name is Mehmet. I recently joined Alfasoft. I work at the Swedish office of Alfasoft, and I work as a license expert with the quantitative methods tools. So meaning that XLSTAT is one of my products that I work with, and it's a product that I really like because I think it can make life a lot easier for a lot of analysts. That's why I would encourage everyone to at least give it a try, and then I'm sure they will like it, and then they can contact me for further questions. And that was all from me. Thank you everyone for attending.
Thank you, Mehmet. I think we have time to take at least one question, Talia. I see that there's one here from the audience. Let me bring it up. How can we manage missing data in XLSTAT? Do we have to do it prior to the analysis?
Okay, there are two ways to handle missing data in XLSTAT. You can either do it prior to your analysis, or if you run a modeling method or machine learning, even like the more basic features, then you can find within the dialog box a tab called Missing Data that allows you either to reject missing data. So in this case, you will have a pop-up saying you cannot continue with your analysis because there are missing data. XLSTAT also can automatically detect the missing data and replace them using either the mean or the mode or other advanced techniques. And last option is you can remove the entire observation. Okay, so to make it more concrete, let me open the linear regression dialog box, and I'll go straight to the missing data tab. This tab is available almost in every XLSTAT dialog box. So here is where you choose what to do with your missing data. If you are looking for alternative imputation methods, then you will have to do it prior your analysis. In this case, you need to go under preparing data, choose missing data, okay, and then well, if you have quantitative data, just select your data here And these are the methods we propose. And these are the methods we include for qualitative missing data. And this needs to be run before the, the further modeling method. Okay, so after clicking OK, you will get the imputed, like the final data set. And from this step, then you can launch the, whatever method you want. I hope it is clear.
Yes, thank you, Talia.
Yeah. Just to complete the last thing, that most of the XLSTAT users use the standard options for handling messy data from the relevant dialog box. Yeah, thank you.
Great. Let's take one more question. And I think the question is about XLSTAT R compatibility. Could you tell us, because I can see, there is another menu for R integration. Can you tell us a little more about XLSTAT and R interoperability?
Yeah, sure. Great question. So since 2018, we created a connection between XLSTAT and R. What we do is using an XML template, we create the connection between XLSTAT and specific library, specific functions. So either the XLSTAT developers do that, but the customers can also do that by themselves, because we provide at the end a XML template that they can fill in by themselves and then add any R function they want. But this is the pre-built R libraries we have already included in XLSTAT. And how it works, same way as XLSTAT. You click on that, then the dialog box opens. And okay, actually this is a nice example because it shows that we can convert any data format into Excel. So I'm going to bring up a SPSS file, and if I click OK now, XLSTAT will call the R function instead of the XLSTAT algorithm. Okay. This doesn't make any change to the final user. They will see the same type of dialog box and the results within the XLSTAT spreadsheet. The only thing that changes is that we call R instead of the C++ library we have in XLSTAT.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just going to open a XLSTAT R notebook template to show you what it looks like. Well, it might look scary a little bit, but believe me, it's not. It's really simple. Even people who don't know how to code, they can do that. You have instructions, comments. So at the end, you can, use your R code here and save it. And then if you refresh your XLSTAT R ribbon, then the new function will appear here. Now, maybe, people will ask me, well, what is the advantage of this if I still have to add the R code in the XML file? Well, we build this for professors or colleagues who know how to code in R, but they have students or other colleagues who don't want to use R, but they would like still to run a function that isn't available in XLSTAT. So in this way, they give possibility to other people to use R without coding. I hope it's clear. And if they don't want to go through all this process, then you can contact us hear support and ask us, oh, can you please add this or function for us? And we'll do that.
That
Okay,
sounds
thank
great.
you.
Thank you so much, Talia.
You're welcome.
Yep. I see that there are a few other more questions here, but I guess I will send it to you, Talia and Mehmet, and
Sure.
rest assured we will publish them with the recording next week, so you get answers for your questions.
Yes, and Tim, I think I've sent you my demo file spreadsheet. So please share it with the attendees, just to show you guys how you can use it. This is the file you will receive. So green tabs contain the XLSTAT outputs, and red tabs contain the data I used. So after installing XLSTAT, if you click here, you will be able to see the pre-configured dialog box.